What's going on, people? What is going on? Good Thursday to you. Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to the Pro Fan Talk. My name is Marcus Thomas. Thank you for joining me. We are at that time again. Busy, a lot of stuff going on in the sports world. The NFL is the gift that keeps on giving. And it's just been another day. Another day. See, my pops is in the limo. Pops, you were not number one. Edward Chamberlain, number one out the limo. I was chatting with him at about 6:30 tonight. Then my pops is number two out the limo. Sean Young, as usual. Reg, good to see you, Sean. Um, well, my boy Vince, and that's four out the limo. We need one more out the limo, and we will be good. All my people out the limo is brought to you by FanUp. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. Daily NFL contests and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use the promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points and a $50 value. FanUp.app. Check it out. So I appreciate everybody for being first in the show. See what's going on. A lot of stuff going on, man. We had the breaking news today. Brittany Griner was they brokered the deal to get her out of jail. A lot of people were upset. A lot of people were happy. A lot of people still wanted the other guy, the former Marine that was in jail, to get out. But it is what it is. Happy she coming home, and I was under the impression that they were still trying to work to get that guy out of jail too. I forget what his name is, McVale, I think his name is. But there will be some more stuff coming with that probably in the next couple days. So we'll see what's going to happen. You got the Raiders and the Rams going at it tonight. The Raiders are trying to salvage their season and, scratch and claw their way into the playoffs. We'll see what happens with that. But right now, as far as the Birds go, we're getting ready to take on the New York Giants. Vince, you said you're going up there, right? You and wife going up there? Ought to be a good game. I don't think the Giants can hang with us, just like we took down King Henry. We just got to slow down Saquon. Let me take these off. So if we can put the kibosh on Derrick Henry being the number one rusher in the league, I think we should be able to do the same thing with Saquon Barkley. Will be a little bit more difficult with Saquon because they can run a little RPO because Daniel Jones likes to run. But we'll see what's going to happen. It should be interesting because they like to throw the ball to Saquon a little bit more than they did last week with Henry. Henry's usually set up with screens and whatnot. Saquon can go in the patterns. He can run some outs and ups and things like that. He's got the speed and he's got the hands. But if we can get some pressure on Daniel Jones and keep him bottlenecked, don't let him get outside, we should be okay. We should be okay. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But it's we are on a good streak right now. And now is the hard time where everybody, it seems like all of the media heads, all of the people that don't watch every game, now everybody's finally giving us the respect. So everybody's talking about us tonight. Jalen Hurts is in the MVP race, legitimately in the MVP race. And that by itself is phenomenal. The defense is finally getting recognized. The defense always has been recognized. I think most of the criticism has been local. We, being in Philadelphia, don't like what Jonathan Gannon is doing. And I've said before, it might not be glitzy and glamoury, but it gets the job done. It's a sound scheme, and it's working. What are you going to say? It's working. Ain't really much you can do. I use this analogy all the time. It's like the kids around the house driving you crazy, but what you going to do when they bring home straight A's? We've got the number one defense in the league right now, overall. There's better passing defenses, there's better run defenses, but overall, like points allowed, we're number one. We're keeping everything bottled up. So not really much room to complain. You're just nitpicking. You're looking for stuff to complain about. And I'm past that. I wish we would do a little bit more press coverage with our secondary. I wish we would blitz a little bit more. But again, those are nitpicks. And what Gannon's doing is working. So I'm going to just shut up and let him do what he's getting paid to do. Here's some stats. I meant to make some slides for it, but I didn't get enough time. But check this out. TJ Edwards, Gardner Johnson, Hargrave, Sweat, Hassan Reddick, Cox, Milton Williams, BG, even Tui Apoloto. Everybody that I just named has at least one sack. TJ Edwards has 2 sacks. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson even has a sack. Hargrave has got 8. Josh Sweat has 6.5. Hassan Reddick has 9 sacks. And I'm sure he'll get to double digits before the year's through. Fletcher Cox has 5. Milton Williams has 2. Brandon Graham has 5.5. Everybody on our defensive line has sacks, man. That's crazy. You can't bitch about the defense. You can't do it anymore. No room for it. We're killing them. Yeah, Maddox is coming out. We're killing them with that. So, I mean, it is what it is. You can get mad at it all you want, but it's effective. And it seems like the defense is finally coming into their own. And that front 4, I don't know what they did different to be able to get that much pressure on Tannehill and the Titans. The Titans have a pretty decent offensive line, and we just pushed them back. Tannehill escaped a couple times and scrambled for some good yards, but when you hold Derrick Henry to under 40 yards, Ryan Tannehill had more rushing yards than Derrick Henry on 11 carries. He had 11 carries for 34 yards. Check my stats. Rushing. Derrick Henry, 11 carries for 30 yards. Ryan Tannehill had 3 carries for 34 yards. That's the third time that I can think of. I know there might be more. That's the third time that I can think of where we shut the best player down. Week 2, we did it against Justin Jefferson. Shut him down. 6 catches for 48 yards. Week 6, we did it to CeeDee Lamb. Held him 5 catches for 68 yards. And then last week, Derrick Henry, 11 rushes for 30 yards. I got no complaints. Jacob, what's going on, dude? We gonna get to Nakobe. Rest assured. We gonna talk about Nakobe. I posted today. I said if taking advantage of your opportunity was a person, and I had a picture of Nakobe Dean because that dude did a lot of work in a little bit of time. So, Sean, Blankenship is my new dude. That dude came in ready to play and has been balling since he stepped on the field. It has not been a drop-off with CGJ. Reed Blankenship has jumped in there and got it done. And again, props to Howie. Blankenship, Stoll, they've been getting the job done. Our backups are getting the job done. I was a little suspect on Josiah Scott when he first got in the game because his first couple games, he didn't look too good. He looked lost. Now, he looks like he's finally catching up. The game is slowing down for him. And Josiah Scott is looking legit. And we definitely need that in our defensive secondary. So everybody that we've got is looking legit. And oh my goodness, Britton Covey did some real returns last week. Our special teams looked like a special teams unit. There were some hard pops on tackles, on kickoff coverage and punt coverage. And Britton Covey had over 100 yards returning on 5 returns. So he was getting some good yards. Finally, I already know he's fast, but finally he was setting up his blocks. When you're doing punt return, you got to figure out where you are on the field and then where the ball is coming down. And you got to figure out, is it best to bring everybody inside and pop out to the left or to the right? Or is everybody got contained in the middle and you've got a little seam up the middle and then you break outside late? It all depends on how it's played. There's a lot of different variables, but you got to be able to set your blocks up. You take 2 or 3 steps max in one direction and you try to either cut it up, cut it in, or cut it out. And that's what Britton Covey did last weekend. And he looked good. He looked good. Now he's just got to keep it up. Watching film and see what their tendencies are on those special teams. So, Pops, I agree. We don't need the respect. Philly, we underdogs up here. That's why I don't understand why everybody gets all bent out of shape. I saw the thing about the power rankings and we were like 4th to win the Super Bowl. Like, who cares about power rankings? Don't nobody give a damn about power rankings. Power rankings mean absolutely nothing. 0. Power rankings don't mean a thing. That's something for the media heads to talk about, about who they think is better and all of that kind of stuff. Power rankings don't mean crap. Power rankings didn't have nothing to do with us losing against Washington. Power rankings has nothing to do with us getting 11 wins. Power rankings has 0 to do with Jalen Hurts throwing the ball across the field. Power rankings has nothing to do with Hassan Reddick having 9 sacks. Power rankings has nothing to do with Howie Roseman signing Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh. None of that. Power rankings is something they want to talk about on ESPN. It gets more people involved with fantasy and all of that other kind of stuff that really don't matter if you somebody involved in the game they actually play on an actual field on Sunday. The rest of that stuff is nonsense. So don't fall into, if they're not talking about us, that's okay. You know, that's how we roll. That's how we work in Philadelphia. We want to be the underdogs. Y'all could go ahead and disrespect us. They can talk all of that smack in Dallas about OBJ and all of that kind of stuff. You see where that went. They talked all of that. Now, they can still sign them, but as of right now, that's much ado about nothing. That's a whole lot of nothing. And the truth of the matter is, they don't even need OBJ. And now the rumors are, oh, Philly's in the mix for OB. Like, stop. We don't need OBJ. We're good. We are good. We're doing our thing right now. Everything is working. Everybody's on the same page. And it is not like when I say everybody's on the same page, that does not happen a lot. You don't understand the intricacies and the nuances that go on in the locker room and have to have all of those different personalities get on one accord and kind of everybody's facing the same way. That is extremely difficult to do. Props to Sirianni. That is extremely difficult to do. So we got it going on. We got everybody going in the same direction. Everybody is just jumping in the back of the bus, and they know that Jalen Hurts is driving. And they just letting him do what he does. And this is one thing. And I said I was going to do this. Who was that this morning? Edward Chamberlain was asking me about that. He said, weren't you going to get all the receipts from all the Hurts haters? And I said, yeah, I'm still going to do it. But the Hurts haters have evolved. Now they're just in denial. Everybody's in denial of what Jalen Hurts is doing. And I'm loving it. Because I'm like, I said it from the rip. Number one, you got to give somebody a chance to really get into a playbook. In this era of the NFL, everybody wants an instant quarterback. There's a lot of teams that are going to be looking to draft a new quarterback. And you know what? When you do that, that means you got to start at square one. So every team has the potential to get another Zach Wilson. So you got to be careful because you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get. And it can't be instant. The pressure on young quarterbacks now is ridiculous because some of the things that people are asking of them, they can't do. I'm watching Justin Fields. If they leave him alone in Chicago, Justin Fields is going to be all right. Everybody's waiting for Justin Fields for the game to slow down for him so he can drop back and make those reads. They want him to be a passer. He's not there yet. Now, the team around him has a lot to do with it. So he's got to take his lumps, and he is. But you see the danger when he drops back and he takes off on you because he is fast. So when he learns to be a running quarterback, when he learns to be a dual threat and not a running quarterback, he'll advance to the next level. Burrow has Chase. Absolutely. You know, I'm going to represent hometown. I'm from Cincinnati. So, you know, I'm watching the Bengals. I bleed green, but I was born in the jungle. Don't get it twisted. And you're right. Jamar Chase is a beast. You know what? T. Higgins is looking like a beast too. Samaje Perine is looking like a beast too. That offensive line in Cincinnati finally looks like they're gelling together and not getting Joe Burrow's head blowed off. He's looking pretty daggone good. So, hey man, it's all good. It's all good. So we just moving on, and we're at a point now where all we got to do is keep doing what we've been doing. And like I just mentioned before, we have got a true dual threat as QB1. We did not have that last year. We did not have that last year. Last year, Jalen Hurts was a running quarterback. If he threw the ball, and I went and looked, because I remember saying this last year, when he threw the ball last year over 20 times a game, when he got close to 25, that's when we had problems. That's when we started getting turnovers and things just didn't look as good. When they kept him right around 20 or under, he wouldn't throw for a lot of yards, but he wasn't turning the ball over, and he was managing it. Too many legs. And then, of course, you saw what happened with the Tampa Bay game, the playoff game. He got exposed, but not so much as exposed as Tampa Bay just proved that he wasn't ready yet. He hadn't progressed. He didn't level up yet. And that's okay. He just wasn't there yet. He got us to the playoffs, but when they put 8 men in the box and say, okay, you're not going to run on us. You got to beat us in the air. And that's what he could not do last year. He was a running quarterback last year. Now he is a dual threat. You go out against Green Bay, you rush for 157 yards. Crazy. He threw for like 158 or whatever it was. He didn't have many yards. It was like equal. But he played a complete game against Green Bay. Then you turn around, he only runs the ball 5 times. 5 times. 5 times for 12 yards against Tennessee. 5 rushes for 12 yards. He still got a rushing touchdown, but he threw for 380. He should have had 400 yards on the day. They took him out early. He should have had 400 yards on the day. Easy. He should have had about 420, 430 if they would have let him play the whole game. But they took him out because we were so far ahead and we were so dominant. Rightfully so. They took him out. But now he's a dual threat. If you stack the box and make it so he cannot run the ball, he will kill you with his arm. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jack Stoll, when Dallas Goedert comes back, Quez Watkins sneaks in there every now and then. I don't really understand why they don't use Quez Watkins more. Got to find a way. He should be on. We should be getting him involved in a lot more screens, in my opinion. Because his burst, his takeoff is super quick, is good. So we need that. But he's a true dual threat. And teams don't know what to do with him. That's why we are in the situation we are in. You can't pigeonhole him. We're going to stop him from running. We can stop him from running. We can beat him. Not so much. Not so much. You got a legitimate MVP candidate. Now, when I talked last week, my opinion was that Patrick Mahomes was still a tick ahead. Pat Mahomes was just a hair above Jalen Hurts. I don't believe that anymore. Now, if you want to have the argument that Patrick Mahomes is a better overall quarterback than Jalen Hurts, we can have that argument. Because I believe Patrick Mahomes is an overall better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. But just by a little bit. There was a big gap last year, not so much this year. But as far as the MVP candidate, as far as who's the most valuable player in the league right now, in my opinion, Jalen Hurts is playing better than everybody. This ain't about who you think the best quarterback is. It should be about who's playing the best and who has got their team on their back. And right now, we've got one loss. If Patrick Mahomes had one loss, school's out. There's no argument. But because it's not Patrick Mahomes, it's Jalen Hurts. If Josh Allen had one loss, if Kirk Cousins only had one loss, they would be trying to throw their names up there like there would be no debate. And like, no. So you know what? You got to give him his props. And because he had that performance against Tennessee, you can't deny that. It's already biased against running quarterbacks anyways, but now you a dual threat. When I say dual threat, you're looking at people like Steve Young. You're looking at people like earlier in his career, Roethlisberger. As big as he was, Roethlisberger could get out of the pocket and move. Dante Culpepper is another one. Steve McNair was another one. They became dual threats. They could all run, but they can beat you with their arm. Now, Geno Smith in Seattle. He's another one. He was another one that could take off early when he came out of West Virginia. Had the size. He could move pretty good. But just because you're trying to be that drop back quarterback, don't forget your skills. Don't forget that's your emergency exit. Because when it all breaks down, you can always go back to that. Yeah, man. Public Enemy. I'm with you, dude. I'm gonna give you props because you rocking PE, old school hip hop. That's what I'm talking about. Takes the nation of millions. He is a unique and a real. He is getting on the level of Steve Young, and I say that because I don't know, a lot of y'all too young to remember. Steve Young was part of that USFL deal. Steve Young was one of them boys that was where when the USFL was outbidding the NFL for them big name players coming out of college. Herschel Walker, Reggie White, Jim Kelly, Steve Young, Sam Mills. You had a lot of players coming out of college, and the USFL was just picking them off because they were the new upstart league. And, if they would have done their business right the first time, you wouldn't have had what you had. But you had some legit players come out of the USFL. Steve Young was one of them dudes, and again, they didn't know what to do with a quarterback that could run. They were still looking like Fran Tarkenton. There was a few of them, but not many. I remember what happened with Doug Flutie. They didn't want to give Doug Flutie the time of day in the NFL, but they couldn't deny his talent. If he had his issues, but just like any other quarterback, if they would have put some good people around him, you would have had a different outcome. I played against Doug when I was in Canada, and Doug Flutie was the truth. Can't nobody tell me different because I saw it for myself. So Jalen Hurts right now is at an MVP pace, and all he's got to do is keep doing what he's doing. That's it. That's it. And for the matchup this week, New York Giants, they were kind of on a high. Daboll, he probably won't win, but he got to be up there for Coach of the Year because he's doing some magic tricks up there in New York. He got them boys balling, and they're only going to be better. And guess what? The NFC East is back on top because next year we're not going nowhere. New York's going to get better. We're going to get better. Washington's going to get better. And Dallas is good too. So the NFC East, the NFC Beast, we back to that moniker again. Nobody expected what we're doing in the NFC East right now. Nobody. We were supposed to be okay. Washington, no. Dallas was supposed to be the best team in the NFC East, and it just hasn't happened. But everybody in the East, we've surpassed all expectations. And for the most part, we're staying healthy. So when we go up to New York, number one thing we got to do is stop Saquon. He's public enemy number one. If we can stop King Henry, we can stop Saquon. But you just got to be ready because they like to throw the ball to him, like I said before. But I think we should be able to handle this. But Saquon is one of those ones where they'll keep feeding them 3 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards, -1, 3 yards, 2 yards, 5 yards, bam, 38-yard run, 42-yard run. He just takes his time, and eventually he's going to pop one. They'll feed him on the screen or something, and he'll shake somebody and break a couple ankles and be to the house. So you got to keep him bottled up. We got to keep doing what we've been doing. The one benefit we have right now is New York is tired. They played that overtime game, and they had most of their defense, their starters and stuff like that. You got a ton of players for the Giants that played over 70 and 80 snaps in that game. That takes a toll. That takes a huge toll. You playing that many snaps, and you got to come back and do it again because they are not healthy. They are not healthy. Right now, the Giants report did not practice. You got offensive lineman Josh Iswedu. He's got a neck. Cornerback Jackson, Adoree Jackson. Offensive lineman Shane Lemieux. And Leonard Williams, defensive lineman Leonard Williams. They all didn't practice today. So I don't know how that's going to play out going forward. And you had limited practice today. All of a sudden, Saquon Barkley got a neck issue. But, you know, Darnay Holmes, Richie James, Nick McLeod, Henry Mondro. So they're not quite healthy. So they got some issues, and we match up better. And plus, not for nothing, we got their best player. We got their best player. Bradbury's balling. Bradbury is balling. Kenneth Harris. Is that my homeboy KC? Is he checking me out? Or is this another Kenneth Harris? If Kenneth, if you, my dude from Cincinnati, holler at me. Put something else in the chat. If you're not, I understand, but I appreciate your sentiment anyways. Like the way you think, bro. Hey, Jose, 100%, dude. 100%. Nobody just wants to just come at they're kind of coming around to it, but it's very begrudgingly. It's always something. I gotta wait until see this. I haven't seen enough of that. I still need a bigger sample size and all of that. It's like, man, get out of here. And stuff like that is what irks me, because if it was any other team doing the same thing, it would be no question, no hesitation. Cody, you from Cincy? Represent, bro. Where you from in Cincy? What school did you go to? I'm a Princeton grad. Class of 88. Princeton High School, baby. Put your hand over your heart every time you say it. 87 state champions. Ranked 17th in the country that year. We wasn't no joke. Nasty Natty, you already know. Oh, you Springdale, so you, heck yeah. You know what's up. You already know. You from Springdale, okay. Then Lakota, okay, yeah. Lakota wasn't, back when I played, Lakota wasn't that good yet, Cody. Lakota was I think I had 4 touchdowns against Lakota that my senior year. Lakota wasn't good. It wasn't until like the last, I guess, 10, 15 years that Lakota just sprang out of nowhere. Smiley out. Yeah, we used to live off, my family used to live off of Reed Hartman in Sharonville. So we were where I lived, we were I could have went to Moeller, Sycamore, or Princeton. But me and my twin sister, we wanted to go to Princeton, so we knew what it was. But yeah, that's what's up, man. Appreciate you, man. Tell my homies to join in the show. I want to see more of my people from Cincy. That's what's up. Cody, important question, bro. Skyline or Gold Star? You know what it is. You already know what it is. Can we bring the 20-yard line from the link to MetLife? Daniel Jones tripped on it. Shaw, you stupid, dude. You crazy, Shaw. Do it. Definitely do it. But like I was saying, man, Ray Bradbury, we got their best player, their best cornerback, because Ray Bradbury has been Ray Bradbury. James Bradbury, not the author, the player. James has been number one. And you know what? I said this in camp, in preseason. I was like, the first thing I noticed about Bradbury when he got here is he didn't say much. There you go. Skyline. That's what I'm talking about, man. Skyline they got them conies with the jalapeno cheese now. I dig that. Every time I come home, that's a beeline. On the way home from the airport, stop at Skyline. I'm getting 5 cheese conies to go. I ain't playing. But when Bradbury got to camp with the Eagles, the first thing I noticed was he had a real quiet attitude. He didn't say much. He was just one of them dudes that went to work. And I was like, we got a real good balance of personalities. You had Bradbury that was quiet and kind of reserved, and then you had Slade that was like the loud one. You had Hassan Reddick, again, somebody that not real talkative. And on the other side, you got BG, who talks a lot of crap. But we had really good balance. Kazir White is very boisterous, not a smack talker, but just a real kind of boisterous guy. If you look at some of his highlights when he was with the Chargers, he was that kind of that alpha personality, always talking, everybody, always getting somebody up. TJ Edwards don't really say much. He don't talk a lot of yak. So we got a really, really, really good balance of players. Marcus Epps don't say much. Gardner Johnson talks a lot. So you see how that is so important when your personalities can balance each other out, because sometimes you need somebody to say, shut up all the talking and let's ball out. Let's put these fools away. You need an attitude like that. And on the other side of that, every now and then, you do need somebody to talk a lot of smack to get you pumped up. You do need that. So there's a balance with it. And our team has the best roster of personalities, I would argue, in the league right now. And everything is working, like I said earlier. Everything is pointing in the same direction. And it's getting better because now we're getting healthier. We're getting some guys back. We are in the situation now where the backups are playing well. So the guys that are coming back from injury, they can take their time. Kazir White, take your time and make sure that ankle is 100%, because Nakobe Dean has coming in and putting everybody on notice. Nakobe Dean came in and put everybody on notice. Let me find his frame. You earned that, bro. You earned that. How you gonna come in and get 15 snaps and be tied for the league in tackles on 15 snaps? And I don't know if it was just me. Nakobe Dean looks definitely faster than anticipated. He looks much faster than I thought he was. And that's what I like to see. And let's get him, move him around. I don't think he has Micah Parsons speed, but he's damn close. He looked quick to that hole, shedding tackles and finding his way to the ball. And that's what we need. And nobody had any problem with his size when he was in there making those tackles. So I don't even want to hear that nonsense no more. He was the same size when he was jacking people up at Georgia. He was the same exact size when he was the captain of that defense, wrecking shop in the SEC. Did nobody have a problem with his size then? They, in my opinion, they screwed him in with the draft and leaking information about injury and all that kind of stuff. So whatever, that's water under the bridge now. But I know he on our squad, and he's a baller. He's somebody that should have been picked in the first round, and he slipped to us, and now we got him. So let that boy loose. And you know he been itching to play. He ain't no special teams player. He should be starting for somebody. So now we got an opportunity to see him. And that's something else that most of these teams haven't seen going to the end of the year and into the playoffs. They haven't seen too much of Jack Stoll. They haven't seen too much of what is it, Tyreek Jackson, the other tight end. That dude is fast as all get out. We got to get him in some pass patterns because that kid is fast. And he's 6'7". Throw the ball up in the air and let that boy go up like he dunking with two hands. Won't nobody be able to stop him. Nobody. We got pieces, man. We got pieces. Our backups are tight. Nakobe Dean is ready to rock and roll. Reed Blankenship is ready to rock and roll. Jack Stoll, Cockatera, and Jackson, all of them ready to roll. Cam Jurgens, if something happens to Kelsey, he's ready to rock and roll. So we got them covered, man. We are looking good. I don't like to say we on cruise control because that means you take your hands off the wheel and you just wait for stuff to happen. Nah, keep your foot on the gas. Keep everything on that accelerator, and let's just blow the garage door off going to the playoffs. Move them obstacles off the road as we go to the playoffs. It's difficult to sweep teams, even more difficult to beat a team 3 times in a year. That's why the Cowboys games are going to be very, very difficult. But right now, I don't see any reason why we should lose to the Giants. We shouldn't have lost to them last year. That was a game where, was that the Deuce game? Where, yeah, that was the game that Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions. And he threw 1 interception in the red zone. So all we got to do is continue to take care of the ball. He hasn't been throwing turnovers. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Keep doing what you've been doing. Our defense, keep doing what you've been doing. These 2 dudes right here, Linval Joseph and Dominican Sue, keep doing what you've been doing. Anybody that's played football, when you go to camp, college, high school, whatever level you played at, when you go to camp, at some point in time, you're going to have to run sprints. You got to do 40s or a full field, whatever you got to do. But eventually, you get that rest after you do your 8 or 10 or whatever it is. And what happens is the longer you go doing that conditioning, the rest, it takes you a shorter and shorter time to get your legs back so you can go full speed again, even though you should be dead tired. That's what we got right now on our defensive line. We got enough horses back there so we can put, Brandon Graham is almost like he's on the pitch count. He's not having to play 16, 70 snaps. He can play 25, 30 snaps and still have fresh legs. People don't understand how important it is to have fresh legs at the end of the year. Fresh legs and health, man. That's why I say, Kaiser, you are my dude. Take your time and come back when you're ready. Because I want you at 100% by the time the playoffs start. If you got to take an extra week to get like that, do what you got to do. Maddox, same thing. Take that extra week. Your backups are playing lights out. So when it really comes down to it, everybody is healthy. The healthy teams go deep into the playoffs. So we are in the driver's seat right now. If this dude keeps doing what he's been doing, this man got another team's GM fired. You believe that? He got another team's GM fired. The guy that traded him got fired this week. That was hilarious because they made all of that noise about it. They kept showing that videotape on the draft day when he had to get up from the table, take a walk back, collect himself, because you knew he didn't want to make that trade. He came on the radio and said it. I heard it. Where he was like, as long as I'm the coach of the Tennessee Titans, A.J. Brown ain't going nowhere. Unfortunately, he's not the ones that make the decisions. And that's the situation. And I've said this before. The people they pay to be the smartest people in the room, what happens when they aren't? What happens when they are not? That's what happens. You get a GM that thinks he's smarter than everybody else, and you take an elite level wide receiver that's 25 years old, great character guy, captain on the team, and you trade him away because you don't want to give him a contract that he deserves. I don't understand that. I'd be very curious to see what his line of thinking was. Like, what was his reasoning behind that? Because it makes no sense. Because up to that point, he had been a pretty successful GM. Been to the playoffs the last, 2-3 years? You had good drafts. You got A.J. Brown. So you knew what you were doing, but I don't understand that. I don't understand that. So he got the GM fired. I said, golly. He embarrassed him like that because he had nine catches for 110 catches for 119 yards. The Titans had the Titans had a total of 16 receptions for 157 yards. And AJ Brown had 10 on his own. So he almost equaled the whole offense. So he just keep doing your thing, man. Catch the ball. Yeah, just keep doing that, man. He's a beast. He's the best receiver we've had here since T.O., in my opinion. I can't think of another. Jeremy Maclin was really good, but Jeremy Maclin did not have this type of impact. He is an elite level receiver. He is showing Devontae Smith where to go. And when I say that, not like Devontae Smith, this is where you're trying to get to. So by the time you turn 25 in another 2 years, this is the type of expectation we're going to have for you because you got the speed. He's got the strength. So we already know Devontae Smith has no problem going up and catching the ball. So we've got two elite level receivers, but what AJ Brown is doing right now, he is the best receiver we have had since T.O. I believe that. Yep. I'm with you, Stelios. I 100%, bro. 100%. Jalen is number one. AJ is number two. And all of this from that one game last year when we finally ran the ball, when we lost to what game was that? When Steve Smith was ripping on us. Again, rightfully so. Steve Smith was killing us because he said this offense is high school. And after that game, we started running the ball and everything flipped. We did a 180 because you're using the players that you have in the right way. Coaches don't do that. A lot of coaches don't do that. Our coach does. Finally. Took him 5 weeks, but it is what it is. Stoll has been balling. I want to see this dude keep getting better. Because I was one of those dudes. I was like, Darren Sproles, absolutely come back. Holla at us. Because he wasn't, y'all know my nickname. That was Crash Test Covey. Somebody that would run so fast he couldn't get out of his own way. And that's why I say slow down, set up your blocks, then turn the Jets on. And that's what it seems like he's doing right now. And he looks different. Special teams was A's across the board last week. Across the board. Offense, defense, and special teams. Everybody got an A. No, I take that back. Offense got a B. B plus. Because of all of them damn penalties. I don't know what that was. I hope Coach Stout ripped him a new one. But I don't know what that was. That was weird. So let's nip that in the bud because I don't want to be in a situation where we kill our own drives. The game we lost against the Commanders, we gave that game away. Penalties and turnovers. When your quarterback is playing at the level that Jalen Hurts is playing, you can't turn the ball over, especially wide receivers. We had 2 opportunities. AJ dropped that one ball that turned into a pick, and then the whole Quez Watkins play. And in spite of how bad we played, we still should have won the game if not for those turnovers. Again, I don't count the Dallas Goedert. That's a wash. Face mask never called, but they didn't call it. So they got Washington got a good a good call from the refs too. So that goes both ways. But we cannot turn the ball over like that. We should not have lost that game. Jalen Hurts is not turning the ball over. And that's the most important thing. Our quarterback is not killing us. Our quarterback is the reason why. And this is something that was said in the preseason. Can your quarterback win games for you? In the fourth quarter, can he put together a drive and win a game for you? Check. The answer is yes. Absolutely. And teams don't know what the hell to do. Is he going to run it? Is he going to pass it? Is he going to do an RPO? Is he going to do an RPR? Is he going to do a PRP? They don't know what he's going to do. And now it seems like he is finally getting comfortable with A.J. Brown, with Devontae Smith, with Dallas Goedert or Jack Stoll or whoever's playing tight end. He's finally comfortable with him, and you know everybody's on the same page, so you know what's going on before it happens. That's when you know a team is gelling together, because that's relationship stuff. That means when you gotta, when you hear me talk about getting in the zone, and we used to have this, I've experienced this when I was in college, when the offensive linemen know what you're going to do. You know what the offensive linemen are going to do. And you see it before it happens. That's the best way I can explain it. If you've never experienced it, it is the best feeling in the world, but it is next to impossible to try to explain. You see things that you shouldn't see. I'm running this way, and I can see a hole all the way over there. That doesn't make sense, but it happens when you're in the zone. When teams have the good relationship and everybody's on the same page, you know what everybody else is thinking. That's where Jalen Hurts is getting to. Once you have that, then quarterbacks start getting to the next level, because everything, the communication with the teams is almost nonverbal, which leaves you a lot more, cranial resources to look at the defense and pick the defense apart before you snap the ball. It all comes together, and it happens. You look at how Tom Brady does it, where he can just, what was that game? Was he with Tampa Bay? He may have been with the Patriots still, but he was trying to help a young player, so he would call out the defense after he snapped the ball. He'd line up and gun. He would take the snap, and he would drop back, and as the running back would pass him, he would yell out the defense, what defense they were in. So that would help him with his blocking assignment. But to be able to do that, read the defense, snap the ball, tell your player what he has to do, still drop back, read the defense, and deliver the ball on time to an open receiver is ridiculous. But that gets where your players, that's why him and Gronk was so good. They knew it. They were nonverbal. They didn't even have to talk. And I see Jalen progressing to that level. He's kind of already there with AJ. He's getting there with Devontae. But when that triumvirate gets to that place, they're going to be hard to stop, man. They're going to be hard to stop. They're already hard to stop, and they haven't apexed yet. They still on the rise. There's still some things that they can get better at. They're far from the peak. That's the good thing about it. And what you want to do with teams like this, you don't want to start peaking until you reach the playoffs. Because when you start peaking, that means everything is about to hit the final form. But you're not quite there yet. You're still formulating. You know where it's going. Everybody sees where it's going, but you're still putting things in place. And it gets better and better and better and better. But it only has to get better 3 times, depending on how well you do in the regular season. And we are in that conversation. And a lot of people forget that. We keep doing what we're doing, and we'll get to the point where we only have to be better 3 weeks. And then there's the Lombardi trophy in there. But you got to get to that point. And we're going in the right direction. That's the most exciting thing. We are definitely going in the right direction. So, a lot of stuff coming up. I want to see the only thing I want to see, two things. I want to see us stay healthy, number one, and I want to see us stay consistent. Everything the defense is doing, stay consistent. Everything Jalen Hurts is doing, stay consistent. Miles Sanders, stay consistent. You running the ball at about 5 yards, you a little tick under 5 yards a carry. And you didn't even have a good game last week, and you still like 4.9 or something for the year. Stay consistent. You're going to pop another one, and you're going to be right back over 5 yards a carry. Stay consistent. AJ and Devontae, stay consistent. That's all we need. Jeremiah Butler, man, that's my dude. Y'all see Jeremiah, say what's up to him. That joker does not sleep. Jeremiah's on every damn show on A2D and Jacob Media. That joker's everywhere. I see him on Barrett's show, Big Seal's show. He on my show. That's what's up, man. You getting around, dude. I appreciate you, though. I appreciate you. But what did Sean say? The best part is when some players don't have a lot of action for the game. No one is complaining. Hey, exactly. Everybody knows their role. Everybody knows their role, man. That's what I used to say this thing. We used to have this thing when I was at work. And I worked for the fruit stand. But we would always have these meetings, and they were big on, family, that team dynamic. And they were big on giving people feedback, right? Let me give you some feedback. And I would always tell them, and I would preface it by saying, like, I think like a coach. So when you tell somebody feedback immediately makes it seem like it's stuffy and corporate. If we are a team and we spend time together, we family. And family, if I walk in the store and I'm having a bad day, one of my teammates, one of my family should be able to look at me and be like, yo, you good? You all right? I don't have to say nothing. They can see me and say, he don't normally come in like that. She don't normally come in like that. Something ain't right. Let me probe a little bit and see what's going on. That's how you know you with people you consider family. Because they can see things and you ain't even got to say nothing. It's the same way in the locker room. It's the same way on the field. I can look, when I was in school, when I was at Eastern Kentucky, I could look at my linemen and I could tell who needs help, who's struggling with and they would tell me, like, all right, set them up so the inside so I can cut behind you. We would work together. Who's killing a man? I'm running behind you. We running 22 ice. You know where they coming. They still can't stop me. We run a 6 and 7 read. That was my play in college. Defense knows where I'm going. They can't stop me because everybody's on the same page. That's what our locker room is like right now. That's what the Eagles locker room is like right now. Very, very difficult to do. It's thin ice. It's always thin ice. When everybody's on it, the support is there, it seems like the ice is 6 inches thick. You get one thing go wrong, you get one bad apple, one bad personality, one issue, all these things in social media. All it takes is one thing, and that ice goes from 6 inches to about 6 millimeters, and it's liable to crack at any time and at any place. So it's a very, very volatile environment that's fluid, always changing. But again, for us, for the Philadelphia Eagles, seems like everybody's on the same page, man. And that's where you want to be. That's why we are where we need to be. You don't see that with any other teams. I didn't see that in Dallas when we played Dallas because we don't have people putting up bulletin board material. We them boys, though. Come on, man. You got to play the game. They ain't faced a defense like Dallas. Well, hell, y'all ain't faced the offensive line like the Eagles. So that works both ways. But my point is, we're not talking smack like that. We'll see you on Sunday, and we'll see what's what. Same thing with the Giants. They both got them boys ready. They're not talking smack. We're not talking smack. We'll see y'all on Sunday. and it'll be what it's going to be. So again, all we got to do, stay consistent. Do what you've been doing. It's working. Ain't nobody figured out how to stop it. So just keep it moving. All right. So I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to watch this game, the Rams and the Raiders. That should be pretty good. It's hard to believe that the Raiders still have a shot to make the playoffs. But guess what? I'm not worried about them. I'm going to watch the game and enjoy it. But I'm going to be all about Sunday, the Birds, division game, up in New York. It's going to be what it's going to be. My prediction, I've got the Eagles winning 30-17. So let's keep it moving. Thank you for joining me. Please check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ProFanTalk. That's my personal channel. I'm putting football stuff up as much as I can, trying to build the channel. I appreciate you. Jump on the channel, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I appreciate it. And trying to bring some new content. Listen, if y'all see me on social media, on my Facebook group, shoot me some ideas. I'm always looking for feedback to do some different things. Some of my videos now, I got some new graphics packages. Most of y'all didn't know that I'm a graphic designer. So when I do edit videos and stuff, I'm doing all of that stuff myself. So I got some new graphics packages that I'm fooling around with, some new sound effects. Sounds pretty cool, and trying to put a new look to it and get some things done. So let me know, give me some feedback. Let me know if you like it. If you don't like it, some suggestions on what you want to talk about, what's trending, all of that kind of stuff, man. Hit me up. And as usual, I will be back here next Thursday on A2D Radio, and we're going to keep putting it down. So appreciate you coming out. Y'all have a good week. Go Birds. I see you, Sean. I'm out, bro. I will holler at you. Appreciate you.